start, before I start, let me ask you this question. You can raise your hand and answer it. What do you think happiness is? According to you, what do you think happiness is? Just answer whatever comes to your mind when you think about happiness. What is it?
Hello, contentment. Contentment.
Contentment. Okay, good.
Peace of mind.
Yeah, very good. Peace of mind. Yes.
Do what is right.
Doing what is right. Okay. Just think of happiness, happy people. What do you see? What do you feel? Enjoyment. Yes.
Smiling faces.
Smiling faces. Yes. Very integral part. Yes. So basically, see, all these are the signs.
Positive thinking.
Positive thinking. Very good. Yeah. Positive thinking. So all these are the signs that basically when you see a happy person, you come across these traits, right? When you see a happy person, the happy person is smiling more often, okay? Is grateful. As you said, Razia ma'am, positive, right? Would talk about more about positive stuff than the negative stuff, right? So these are the various signs. So basically, I was just going through reading the research and I just came through the different signs of a happy person. Would you like to know what are the signs according to research, the top 10 signs? Okay. So the very first thing was they don't keep telling people that I'm happy. It was so funny. I came across this, that the first thing is they don't keep telling people that, oh, I'm really happy, I'm happy. See, if you are happy, you don't have to keep telling people, right?
क्योंकि उनके लिए common है ना वो.
Yeah,
उनके लिए common चीज है वो.
Exactly. And when you're feeling happy, you don't have to tell, right? मुझे जागृति मैम को बताना नहीं है. वो vibe ही आ जाता है कि okay, she looks happy, she feels happy. Am I right, Jagriti ma'am?
Yes, yeah? Yes.
So that was the first sign. Okay, there were a lot many, but these were the top 10. They accept negative emotions and move on. So see, none of us can ever have a perfect life. It's not possible. Possible ही नहीं है, right? It's always going to be a mixed bag of happiness and sadness. साथ में ही चलने वाला है, right? So what happens is happy people are ready to accept the negative emotions, the negative incident, and they move on. As in, कि अगर कुछ घर में हुआ तो happy people are more likely to think कि ठीक है ये हुआ, with time ये solve हो जाएगा और I'll do something about it, but I'll move on. They don't get stuck there. मतलब वहां पे अटक नहीं जाते हैं. Yeah, unhappy people are stuck. वहां पे अटक जाते हैं. So that's another sign. Okay, let's look at the third one. They don't gossip. So one of the signs of happy people is they don't gossip about people. Yeah. See, when you're content, when you are happy about yourself, when you're happy about the surrounding, you know what, you wouldn't like to talk about stuff like, oh, she's this and she's that and ye hai or backbiting, all the stuff you keep away from it. और वो pretense नहीं होता है, naturally हो जाता है that you don't want to talk about it, right? Even if somebody is talking about somebody in a very derogatory term, you're like, okay, I don't want to, let's not discuss it further, right? You can always. So एक वो है कि they don't gossip. They are very grateful. Okay. So basically, one of the signs of happy people is for whatever they get, for whatever they receive, they are genuinely grateful. See, यहाँ पे grateful doesn't mean the artificial thank you जो culture सिखाया गया है ना. कुछ भी हो and like, not even with a smile, but they're like, thank you, ma'am, thank you, but they don't mean it, right? Not that artificial culture of thank you, but genuinely feeling thank you inside, okay, of receiving things. You genuinely feel thank you for the family you have. You genuinely feel thank you for the health you have. Genuinely feel thank you. वो अंदर से ही आ जाता है. So that is one of the signs. They are very helpful. Okay, happy people are really helpful. They really would want to, reach around and help others. They have empathy. What does it mean? Empathy is understanding, right? They try and understand others. Okay? So happy people have more empathy. They are more understanding about others, which in turn make others very understanding about them, right? So they have hobbies. They are active. Okay, they are physically comparatively fitter. Doesn't mean that if you have disease, you're not happy. You might have a genetic disease or some other, but basically the approach is that I am going to be better and I am going to heal. That is the approach, rather than, oh God, I mean, I've got diabetes now. I wouldn't be able to come out of it. That's not the attitude, right? So these are the signs. Do you all agree? Have you come across these signs when you come across happy people? So I agree to most of them because personally, okay, whenever I've come across a happy person, actually come across most of the signs, most of these signs. Yeah, do you all agree with me? Yahan tak? Do you agree with this? Yeah. So happiness technically is a state of mind. Okay, it's basically a feeling of positive, pleasant emotions. Okay, so that is a technical term for happiness. Now, let me share with you a short story, not even a story, an anecdote, okay, which is very interesting. So once there was this young man who left his village, okay, and he went to another village. So there he met this old person, okay, and he went up to him and he asked him. So he's like, I'm planning to settle down in this village. What kind of people would I find here? So the old man was like, okay, before I give you the answer, let me ask you a question. So he was like, what kind of people did you encounter in the village you left? So he said, most of the people were like greedy, unhappy, liars. So the old man got thinking and he said, then this is not the village for you because you are going to find the same kind of people here. You're also going to find here liars and cheaters. And so you better go away to some other village. Okay. Now, the next day, there was this another young person, okay, who came and was planning to settle down in this village. He asked the same question to the old man. So what kind of a village is this? Again, the old man asked the same question. So he's like, let me ask you, what kind of people did you encounter in your village? What did he say? He said, they were loving, they were kind, they were happy people. So he's like, then why did you leave? He said, there were some reasons I had to leave and I had to settle down somewhere else. So the old man was like, welcome to this village. This village is made up of happy people like you. You're most welcome. Come in, join us. So what does this tell us? This tells us that happiness, sadness, of course, depends a lot on the outside factors, but it's mostly a projection of your inside world, internal world, right? So the young person who found other people happy, okay, projected happiness, okay, was happy himself. आपने कभी ये एक्सपीरियंस किया है जब आप सैड होते हो और बाहर निकलते हो, यू व्हाटएवर यू फाइंड बेसिकली एड्स टू योर सैडनेस, लाइक फिर आपको कोई भी चीज अच्छी नहीं लगती है एंड एवरीथिंग एड्स टू योर सैडनेस, एंड व्हेन यू आर हैप्पी एंड यू मूव आउट, by the time you come back home, everything keeps adding to your happiness. Have you observed and have you? Yeah. So yeah, I've experienced this. This is basically, what does this mean? That happiness is more of a projection of your internal world outside, rather than the outside world coming inside of you and making you happy. It's more like your internal world. You're projecting your internal world outside. So they say that happiness. Okay, let me ask you this question. How many of you think that happiness is a choice? Is happiness a choice? Let me frame it this way. Is happiness a choice? If you say yes, then raise your hand. If you say no, then don't raise your hand. So if you think it's a choice, okay, who said a no? Okay.
Angela.
Okay. And who says a yes to it? Like, is happiness a choice? Okay, Pushpa ma'am says it's a choice. Jagruti ma'am says it's a choice. Who else thinks it's a choice? Razia ma'am says it's a choice. All right. So a lot of research was being made and they found out that happiness is not entirely your choice. Right? Because I'll explain. Because if it was completely our choice, all of us would prefer to be happy, right?
Yeah,
all of us
correct.
would avoid sadness, right? Yeah, if it was that easy, आजकल जो वो positivity सिखाते हैं ना, that if you want to be happy, just think that you're going to attract happiness and you will be happy. ऐसे नहीं होता है, ऐसे attract आजकल के वो जो new found gurus are like, attract happiness from all around you. It doesn't work that way. You know why? Because happiness is dependent on lot of reasons, lot of variables. Okay. So it depends on your health. It depends upon your relationship. It depends upon upon your job, your financial, whatever. So it is dependent on many factors. Now, all these factors are not within our control.
Yes.
Some of them are within our control, some of them are outside our control, right? So for example, if you have an abusive partner, it is beyond your control. Even if you try to improve or rectify his behavior, he is not supportive. Or for example, if you lose a job, it is beyond your control, right? If you've lost your job or whatever. So there are a lot of factors which are beyond your control. Okay, so happiness, like breathing kaisa hai? Breathing is semi voluntary, as in it happens automatically. But if you want to stop your breath, you can you stop your breath and die? Yeah, we can stop our breath and die if we want to, because it is semi voluntary. So happiness also, they say, it is partly voluntary and partly it is dependent on outside factors. Okay, now what are the two things? Basically, they say there are two things which really help a person to be happy. So what are these two things which they found, which was like underlying attributes, okay, of happy people? These two tools was very, these two tools were very important. And what were they? Okay, so let us study about it. These two tools were self-care and self-love. Okay, these were the two very important tools they found in happy person, is like self-care and self-love. Now here, by self-love, I do not mean that narcissistic love, like, oh, I'm very beautiful, I'm very intelligent. That's not self-love, right? So what is self-love is when you truly respect yourself, right? When your self-worth, like you really feel that you are worthy, not worthy for others, or only, it's not like only if others make you feel worthy, or you feel worthy of yourself. The self-worth is coming from within you. Okay, even if Jagruti ma'am and Pushpa ma'am comes and says that, Tejal, you're not worth anything, okay, you know good, but I know what I am. My self-worth is coming from inside of me, so I'm not dependent on those comments or validation. So that is self-love. You truly respect your being, you truly respect who you are. And believe me, when we say people don't respect us, most of the times it is us not respecting ourselves enough. Believe me, if you truly respect yourself, the other person actually, okay, gets that vibration, has to respect you. But if you, so I've come across a lot of people, my friends who are homemakers, and they are like, oh, but we do not do anything. We are like, we don't go out and work, so I'm not worth anything. I mean, when you talk about yourself in these terms, that I'm not worth anything, do you think anybody is going to respect you? No, of course not. So you have to respect everything about yourself, about the things you do, right? So that is self-love. And what is self-care? All of us here are doing self-care. That is, you occupy yourself mentally. Every day you come here at 5 o'clock. What's the reason? That you meet other people, you do little exercises, those healthy practices, right? There's this social bonding. You come to know how others live. Okay. So basically, that is self-care. So people who love themselves, I'm not talking about narcissistic love, not like I'm great and my superior, and these are not in those terms. Who truly find themselves worthy. Okay, that is self-love. And when you love yourself, you are going to take care of yourself. Am I right or wrong? Because of course you like yourself, you respect your body, you respect your mind, you respect your soul, you are going to take care of it. And hence you are going to take care of yourself. So they found that happy people have these two attributes, very strong attributes. Now, let me move further and say and ask, are happy people always happy? Are always happy? And do they have all circumstances which are like very positive and constructive? Yes or no? No,
No.
not possible in a year, right? Life hai, to forget about in years. Even in a day, you are going to have your highs and your lows, right? Yeah, you're going to feel the high and you're going to feel the low. It's a natural cycle, right? So basically, why are happy people happier than others? Or say, let's say more happy, right, than others? That's because एक टनल है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मुझे टनल से जाना है, राइट? अभी टनल में डार्कनेस है, तो एक हैप्पी पर्सन जा रहा है टनल से, एक सैड पर्सन जा रहा है. What do you think the approach would be? What would be the difference of approach? a happy person would think there's going to be the end of tunnel and I'm going to see the light. So it's okay. Even if I have to go through the tunnel, I will go, because at the end of the tunnel, there's going to be light. And what a sad person would think, this tunnel is going to be never ending. It is always going to be dark. There's going to be no end, no light. Or before the poor chap reaches the end of the tunnel, would get a heart attack. मतलब वो पता भी नहीं एंड ऑफ द टनल आया कि नहीं, वहां पे लाइट है कि नहीं, उसने खुद ने ही सब कुछ, वो बोलता है ना, वो सेल्फ टॉक, खुद ने एक स्टोरी बना दी कि कोई टनल टनल यही रहने वाला है, डार्कनेस ही रहने वाली है. डू यू हियर सम पीपल अराउंड यू, no matter how positive or constructive you talk, they'll come back, no, but no, the world is going to the, ये अभी मतलब कलयुगी है, अभी तो सब कुछ बुरा ही होने वाला है, अब सब जगह पे वॉर ही होने वाली है. Have you heard this? You keep hearing this, right? And there are some people who on the other spectrum, I mean on the other end of the spectrum, always talk positive, which is also again not true. मतलब कुछ भी हो, नहीं सब कुछ अच्छा है, वो भी ट्रू नहीं है, सब कुछ अच्छा भी नहीं है. कोई लोग इतना ज्यादा पॉजिटिव हो जाते हैं कि विच इज फेक अगेन. सो यू हैव टू बी अ रियलिस्ट बेसिकली. यार इतना भी पॉजिटिव सुनो ना किसी को, तो बोलते हैं ना डायबिटिक हो जाते हैं, इतनी शुगर भी. लाइक सम पीपल, अरे ओ एवरीथिंग इज गुड, ओ यू लुक ग्रेट एंड एवरीथिंग इज गुड, which is again fake. So what one needs to do is, if you really want to be happy, you have to accept that life has both positive, constructive episodes, as well as episodes which are going to hamper you emotionally. Right? It's life. Life is this way. And you all have experienced more of life than me, right? You all know more, you've seen more seasons. And you know, right, that everything passes, everything is transient. Bolte hai na, this shall pass. You know, whenever you talk to your grandmother, your grandfather, and they're like, you know, how did you deal with all those stuff? And you had much harder time, much more difficult time, less facilities. And they would just say that, oh, we always used to have this approach that this shall pass. Time is the best healer. They always believed in this, that time is the best healer. And it is true. It is scientifically true that with time, your emotions get weak and get weaker. So even if you are happy, believe me, the happiness is going to go away. If you are sad, the sadness is going to go away. But now that we are talking about happiness, let us see what can we do. So basically these two tools, self-love, self-care. Okay. You kind of, all of us here are doing these two things. So you need to have healthy people, basically, are relatively active mentally and physically. Okay, comparatively, they are more engaged in lot of meaningful activities. Okay, now there are two types of happiness can be of different types. So they say joy is again a form of happiness. There's excitement also is loosely and kind of used as happiness. Gratitude, pride, optimism, contentment, love. But if you take two kinds of happiness, one is pleasure, another is bliss. इसमें डिफरेंस क्या है? प्लेजर में और ब्लिस में डिफरेंस क्या है? सो प्लेजर इज हियर, प्लेजर इज रिलेटेड, मोर रिलेटेड टू मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, राइट? प्लेजर इज मोर रिलेटेड टू मटेरियल वर्ल्ड. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई हैव अ कप ऑफ कॉफी, इट गिव्स मी लॉट ऑफ प्लेजर. I watch a movie, it gives me a lot of pleasure. Okay, today's generation, unfortunately the young generation, is actually stuck up with this pleasure seeking principle. Matlab, they want more and more and more of it. There's nothing wrong in seeking pleasure, because we are pleasure seeking animals. Okay, so all of us need to have a good cup of coffee, a tea, a good movie, a good book. That is pleasure on one hand. And exactly opposite pe hai bliss. Now what is bliss? Bliss is more related to the spiritual aspect. And our Eastern philosophy focused more on bliss rather than pleasure. It was always more focused on bliss. Now difference क्या है? Pleasure में आपको meaning नहीं मिलता है. Okay, it is mostly devoid of meaning. मतलब आपने वो experience किया, coffee पिया, coffee पीने के बाद the pleasure is gone. Like, you know, मतलब you need to have another cup of coffee. It is not very long lasting. Yeah. On the other hand, when you experience bliss, it is comparatively long lasting. So for example, if you engage yourself in something meaningful, say for example, you've done meditation, right? It might not be pleasurable then because वो position में बैठना, focus करना might not be pleasurable, but the after effects are very joyful. Sorry, not pleasurable, but joyful, right? And you watch TV, that might not be meaningful, but you get a lot of pleasure out of it, right? टीवी देखने से प्लेजर मिलता है, बट मीनिंग नहीं मिलता है. तो क्या करें, मतलब खाली मीनिंग हम लोग को चाहिए या खाली प्लेजर? इट्स अ मिक्स ऑफ बोथ. In our day-to-day life, if somebody says you just need to meditate, you just need to realize yourself, you just need to learn about yoga and spirituality, and do not actually enjoy a good cup of coffee, or do not enjoy a good company or a good book, or no, we need pleasure and we also need activities which gives us meaning. Technical terms में उसका नाम है actually it is hedonia. See, hedonia is basically pleasure seeking activity, and it is eudaimonia. Eudaimonia is basically meaning seeking activities. तो लाइफ में ये दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन होना चाहिए. या रजिया मैम, मतलब एक अच्छी बुक भी चाहिए, इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है लाइफ में. जागृति मैम, जितना मेडिटेशन इंपॉर्टेंट है, फ्रेंड्स के साथ बिना कोई रीजन ऐसे हंसना और स्टूपिड जैसी मतलब बातें करना जिसमें कोई हाथ पैर नहीं है, वो भी उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है जितना हमको आसन, प्राणायाम और व्हाटएवर योर फिजिकल. सो बेसिकली अगर कोई आपको
हॉबी से भी मिल सकती है.
यस,
कोई हॉबी, अपनी हॉबी से भी अपन खुश हो सकते हैं ना.
यस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट यहाँ पे ना. दे आर फिजिकली मेंटली एक्टिव. हॉबीज आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ सेल्फ केयर. इट फॉल्स इनटू सेल्फ
बहुत ज्यादा. हाँ, हॉबी जब पूरी होती है तो बहुत ज्यादा खुशी होती है.
यस, इट एक्चुअली इट्स अ क्रॉस. इट गिव्स यू मीनिंग आल्सो, अ सेंस ऑफ, है ना, पर्पस आल्सो एंड प्लेजर आल्सो. सो हॉबीज इज, हॉबी बेसिकली इज अ मैरिज ऑफ द टू, वेरी मीनिंग भी है और प्लेजर भी है. यस, वेरी true. Hobbies are in fact so important that they say after 60, when you cross 60-65, that is the senior age, right? People who have hobbies, okay, are the happier lot, because you can pick up a book. The book is not going to say, oh, I don't have time today, like other people would say. No, if you ask somebody to, oh, come with me to the market, oh, I don't have time, I'm busy. Your grandchild might say that, your daughter-in-law might say that, your spouse might say that, but book would never say that I'm busy. Book will be, okay, I'm here, you can read me and derive the joy out of it. Yeah. So this might sound, this thing, I always say that be dependent on inanimate objects. You know, like movies, you can keep watching them. Like good books, go for a walk. These are okay. When you're more dependent on people, it becomes a problem. That becomes a problem, because then you're dependent on people for your happiness. If you're dependent on one person for your jogging or running or a walk, then you are going to have a problem eventually, because that person will, like, might be busy, would say a no to you. Then you are dependent basically. So be dependent on books, on hobbies. And you know what, presently again a question to you all. I'm throwing you a question. They made a survey of all the things that makes a person happy. Now you have to tell me the top that you think will make you happy. For example, some might say family. So just answer, what are the things that you think makes a person truly happy, like would rank top mein? So I've got the list here. I just want to know, okay, what is your take? What do you think that truly makes someone happy or truly makes you happy? Share, there is no issue, no judgment.
At this age, in the senior citizen age, a grandchild or grandchildren will talk to you and they play with you.
Lovely. Okay, grandchildren, lovely. Yeah. Anybody else? Just speak your mind.
When you meet an old friend.
Yes.
Oh, lovely. Old friend. Yes. Yeah.
And when your dish turns out very well and your husband appreciates it.
Cooking. Okay. Lovely. What else?
फैमिली के साथ सब बात करते हैं, एंजॉयमेंट करते हैं, वो भी एक अच्छी
family. Wow. Yes. Any more inputs? Any more thoughts on this? What do you think makes a person happy? You happy or others happy?
Someone remembers you and calls up out of the blue.
Someone remembers you. Wow. Okay. Lovely. You know what? I'm just realizing here. So all the answers. So it's grandchildren, old friend, cooking, family, somebody remembering you. Everything has got to do with healthy social life.
Yeah.
Healthy social life, right? None of you,
Yes.
see, this is the experience and age talking. None of you spoke about money. Coincidentally. Right? So it is important. None of you spoke about like on the off the top of your head like money. It was all the five were related to social, healthy social life. You know what? This is surprising. This might come. They actually made a research and they found out that above money, above job, above achievements, okay, the top one is healthy
Social
social
life.
relationship, which includes family, friends, supportive people around. So they actually made a research. They found out, and this is not just related to India. This was actually a worldwide. So the sample was basically people from all over the world. So it's not our culture, just our culture, but all the cultures put together. And they found out that healthy social relationships could be anything. Could be a very good friend, grandchildren, could be supportive people around you, even your house help. Okay, if they are supportive, basically that brings in a lot of security that actually makes you happy. Unlike
गेस्ट आ जाए, कोई गेस्ट
True.
आ जाए तो भी खुशी होती है.
kitni khushi.
Yes.
See, this is age talking, right? If I were to address a
Surprise.
21 year old right now, if the crowd was comprised of 21 years old, and if I were to ask what makes you happy, the answer would have been different, right? The jobs,
Yes.
money, right? So even with age, the priorities changes, the outlook towards life changes. But you all have realized out of so many years of experiencing life that healthy social relationships are very, very, and it does not mean your own daughter-in-law, your son, or it could be a healthy relationship with anybody. It could be a friend,
Anybody.
a neighbor, yeah, a house help, anybody. But surround yourself with few loving, supportive people. It is very important. Then came next was health. Second one was health. True, right? If you're not healthy, you might be traveling by a BMW or you might be traveling, in a Mercedes, and you have a severe headache. Believe me, that Mercedes is of no use.
No
You
use.
go to the best of restaurant, okay, and if your stomach is aching and your head is hurting, yeah, you're not going to be interested in that fine dining, na? Even if it's a beautiful restaurant.
Restaurant.
And see, when you're like perfectly healthy and you're feeling good, even a cutting chai somewhere, okay, sitting inside your car on the road, or a cup of coffee makes you happy, joyful.
You
Am I
want to
right?
enjoy.
Yes.
Yes.
So it is about your capacity and capability to enjoy that makes you happy, and not the outside factors. Of course, there are outside factors are responsible, but more so, it's your capability to enjoy. How capable are you? And what do you do about this? What do you do? How do you train yourself? Train yourself every single day to be happy with small things. With small things. For example, tomorrow when you wake up, or even after this, while enjoying a cup of tea, be with the tea and thoroughly enjoy the tea. Make it a ritual, right? So in Buddhism, they actually teach how to eat. They are like, make it a festival, make it a feast. While you're eating, taste it, smell it. What they are trying to teach us is train yourself to enjoy. It's a training. Happiness is not going to happen like a big event every single day. No, it's not going to happen that way. What is going to happen is Saleh said we need to end it in 5 minutes. Yes, we will. So we need to, this is in fact the last phase of this. So we need to train ourselves to find happiness in small things. So have you ever, whenever you come across birds chirping or small children playing and, that giggle and that, it instantly makes you happy. When you have small children around playing and laughing and, when you hear birds chirping, it makes you happy. It instantly makes you happy. Okay. The beautiful, sound of rain falling on the earth. Have you just listened to it falling on your roof? It makes you happy somehow. So being connected with nature actually makes you really happy. So train yourself for self-care, self-love. It starts with self-love. Take care of yourself. Train yourself for enjoying the small things, deriving pleasure as well as joy out of small things in life. So these were what I read, what I felt, what I've experienced, what I know about happiness. So I thought I'll start with happiness today. And I think I'm going to make a series. So next time we'll talk about fear also. We'll talk about jealousy. We'll talk about all the emotions. It's going to be beautiful. Not just happiness, but I started with happiness on a happy note. So this was it about the happiness thing. Just a minute. So yeah, hope you all liked it, related to it. Yeah. And let's at least, I mean, that's including myself. I'm talking to myself also. Let us kind of implement these very simple tools. Okay, this is really simple to practice. Pay more attention to the leaves around you, the trees around you. It's simple, but it's beautiful. Believe me, it's beautiful. Listen to the birds chirping. Okay, pay more attention to children around you. They are so beautiful, and we hardly pay attention to them. And we pay attention to adults with a frowning face all the time. No, just look at the children who are smiling and laughing. So yeah, these are the simple tools. Okay, and then next time I'll come up with some different emotion and we'll talk about it. So thank you all so much. Yeah.
Thank you,
Wonderful,
Tejal. Thank
wonderful,
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Very nice session. Very nice session.
Very intriguing.
Oh, I love to meet you all and see you all. So yeah,
Yeah, when we party, come on.
we did last time. Very few people came up.